And I know one of the managers who approves the apps on the App Store. I was actually one of the groomsmen at his wedding.
So if you have an iPhone app that you'd like approved, maybe talk to this guy.
You could socially engineer something, like, hey, Gordon, I'm like, oh, I must know you. I get in the car and then stab, stab, stab.
This community is here to help each other out, so make sure you guys introduce yourselves to just at least one other person so that can happen.
Doesn't it sound like fun? Okay. Oh my, it doesn't work anymore.
We're a very small group within Caro. I'm sure that you guys all know when you're looking at your favorite blog and you know exactly what you're looking for, it's really tough to get to that content. So I'll let Joelle, the actual developer and lead developer, kind of take over for this. Milan over here and Jamie kind of helping out with this project as well, so it's definitely a team effort.
We're just hoping to help out the open source community, and by doing that we're also trying to learn a little bit more of the innards of WordPress so that we could use it on some of our projects. Looking through all the plugins that existed already, we found that this plugin didn't exist, or there wasn't even anything close that we could use as a base to get this functionality. We created a filtering system, and once you click on the top example here, it has 4 posts under it. If you need to look for example plus Facebook, you just click on Facebook, and it will allow you to filter down and bring yourself closer to the result that you're looking for, or the result set that you're looking for. It allows you to also get a quick glance at all the tags in the system and sort by the number of posts that exist in this blog. So if I need to quickly get to one that has Calgary in it, I can click on that one and get to it. We try to make sure that the CSS was clean, and we did screenshots on the WordPress website to make sure that we could show all the states and allow people to extend it and design that for themselves.
Is it available on the WordPress plugin repository?
It's free. We didn't get any money for this. Yes, it's available on the plugins right now. There's been about 200 downloads since Friday when we actually put this up on the plugins.
What's it called?
It's called the Relative Tag Filter.
I know it's my favorite and nobody else likes it, except for David Luzman, but I think we should start going around and introducing everyone. Doesn't it sound like fun? Okay. Oh my, it doesn't work anymore.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Quentin from Cowork YYC. I've got Jeffrey Gibson and Nick Thierry. These are the 2 guys that are going to be running the show at the space. I'll be sequestered back downtown where I apparently belong. The intent was really to provide a space for freelance designers, coders, writers, anything. Both Jeffrey and Nick are freelancers, and they were struggling to find the right place to work. I had to host Nick in my office downtown, in my home office at home, and I was just sort of getting tired of him hanging around, so. Oh, in the mother-in-law's basement. There's a lot of websites like this around. This one in particular doesn't do anything. Similarly, this one is by Matthew Burks, who's a local guy who recognized the same need. I think he's taking his project down now that we've started this place. California and San Francisco, there's this guy, Brad Newberg, up on the top right, who coined the term co-working. So shared office environments have been around forever. He wanted also to have a meditation circle as well prior to working. We may or may not adopt the same technology in our space. There's a lot of presence on the web about the movement of co-working. There's probably 4 or 5 really organized co-working spaces in North America, or in Canada, sorry. But none in Calgary. There's hundreds of these that are popping up around North America. So they're really everywhere. We've recognized that nobody's in Canada yet, so we've put our mark on Canada on this map here. Who would be welcomed or included in a co-working space? It pretty much is anybody and everybody. So Calgary is a very tough place to find space. We put out a survey early summer, and thanks to many of you here tonight, you filled that survey out, helped us. And we tried to find the best balance for everybody's perceived needs out there. So it's in the Ramsey Design Center. You probably know it. Former home of iStock Photo. Redpoint Media is there. Fast forward upstairs, Avenue Magazine. Just recently refurbished and are continuing to do so. Our website, which we launched this morning, and we've got quite a bit of interest. We had our blog up all summer, got a lot of communication through that, our presence on Twitter and Facebook, etc. Nick, who built this website, in 5 days can fly us through it quickly. For your price, you get desk, internet, and the intangible benefits of working alongside other people. This is Jeffrey and his kung fu skills.
That's my nuts.
space.
How does a freelancer get a space on here? We've got a few places on this website where you can email us, you can call us, you can Facebook us, Twitter us. Really, we go on a month-to-month basis. Price to start up here is $450 a month. Co-work with us for 6 months. Your 6 month is free. 2,500 square feet there, partitioned into spaces that look similar to this. A great variety of working spaces for everybody. And also a dojo in the back as well for Jeffrey.
Is space available for having clients into the office?
We've got a meeting space there. We've also got a fairly large kitchen that can be utilized for that kind of thing. The one thing about our boardroom, it's an open space to the rest of the workspace, so we're evaluating what the demand is for closing that in.
Hi, my name is Arpad Barabbas. I founded Mobizu. And Mobizu is a service that's geared towards retailers to allow them to upload, manage, track real-time surveys, coupons, and ads. It's a service that allows them to access mobile users in a very easy manner. If you know how to upload a picture to Flickr or update your status on Facebook, you can use this service. It requires absolutely no IT integration. The retailer has an interface to track their ads, track their coupons and surveys. So for example, here I have a couple of ads already loaded up. You can take a look at the specific ad to track how well is it doing month over month, how many people are taking a look at it. So I have 19 ad impressions. And so far, year to date, it's cost me 67 cents for those 19 ad impressions. Say, for example, I want to create an ad for a click-to-call action. I can do that quite easily with the interface. Pre-populates the modules that I would want for my ad. It will automatically upload content as I'm doing it. Getting the right content to the right user at the right time is critical. Most ads on the mobile web, totally irrelevant, not targeted to the right user at all. Mobizu totally changes that. When that ad gets pushed out to an end user, it's going to take a look at these tags and compare that to the profile of the user. So ads will be highly targeted and relevant to the end user. In addition, if I am a store in Calgary, I can even target my ad to specific demographic or geographic information. That could include gender, that could include age, country, or even down to the city. As I change the parameters, the guide here tells me exactly what percentage of the population on Mobizu will I target with this ad. And as I change parameters, this is telling me I'm going to only hit 27% of the total mobile Mobizu population. Not only statistics at an individual ad level, but at a consolidated level. So that's one great tool. Another one is My Coupons. This one's still pending approval, so this one would be sitting at the Mobizu dashboard waiting for an administrator to take a look at it, to make sure that the content's appropriate. Once it gets approved, it's live. I'm gonna create a coupon for sport towels, 10% off. If I have a limited budget and I'll only wanna push out 100 coupons, set that limit right here. I set a start date and end date. Unlike traditional coupons, you typically have to spend a lot of time developing them. Then you have to mail them out, and then you have to wait for people to come to your store. And once they go out, you have no ability to adjust your coupons on the fly based on customer use. Mobile ads, you can adjust it on the fly, make them, so if you have a promotion you want to push out for tomorrow, you can do that with Mobizu. Mobizu bucks per event, what this means is every time a coupon is saved by a user earns Mobizu bucks, and that is a reward system that Mobizu uses to entice customers to continuously interact with that retailer's brand over and over again. And this is the code that the user would show the point of sale device. So if I had a barcode, I could upload that barcode image. And depending on your point of sale system, you can create custom call to actions to your user. If you're a business that only operates out of your home and you only take phone calls, you can still use mobile coupons. You just direct users to call you. This targeting tool, same thing applies for coupons. You can target this coupon to whichever demographic you want. So when you use a coupon, you can save them on the actual website or on your mobile phone. So I can go in there and take a look at it. It's showing me 10% off, add it to my wallet. Every time a survey or a coupon is saved, an ad gets pushed out, targeted depending on the user's profile information. I save the ad and I just earned 10 Mobizu bucks. To use the actual coupon, I just go to the retailer, go to the coupon itself, use now. The service is still under development. I'm looking to launch December. Not only is it going to allow retailers to highly target their end users, consumers save money using mobile coupons, and they also get to earn free stuff. Every time they do an action on the site, they earn Mobizu bucks. and they use it to buy whatever they want. Based on how many points you have, you can purchase things get shipped to you free. So for end users, consumers, there's absolutely no cost to use the service. Anybody that wants to beta this, please go to mobizu.com.
How localized is your geo-targeting?
The targeting is down to city, but it would be very easy to implement it down to the zip code or to the postal code level if we wanted to.
What's the cost to the employers?
So the retailers, I'm charging a very low monthly fee, and that provides them access to the site, and then I'm charging them for a per use, so per coupon. Right now it's 25 cents per coupon. Per survey, that's charged 35 cents per survey. And again, per ads, it's charged on a CPM type basis. So per action, they accumulate. So every month they'd have a fixed fee and a variable component to that.
So you're gathering your database of phone numbers.
There's no SMS at all involved. It's all through the mobile web. I do require a phone number when you sign up because I need to validate that the users on this, A, have a cell phone and B, have internet on their cell phone. Other than that, I never use the telephone number, and retailers never see any personal information from any of the consumers. They only see consolidated conglomerate information.
Next up, we have
Chad Jones.
Chad Jones. And how excited are you to be here?
Very excited.
Very. How far did you drive to get here?
I actually flew.
Oh, okay. We thought he was going to drive all the way from
Saskatoon.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't make it as exciting, does it? So we have 10 minutes for Chad? Is it 5? 5. Okay. Because you're from Saskatchewan, 5. Okay. Go right ahead.
I'm actually the instructor of an iPhone programming class in University of Saskatchewan that we're offering. The National actually came and covered the class we're covering. It's the first in Canada to have an accredited course that covers this particular material. We have about 71 students in the class. They're also talking about an iPhone application that we developed at the University of Saskatchewan. Some of you may have heard of it. So here's the actual iPhone application, IUSask. We really built it with the help of a lot of different people at the University of Saskatchewan. It really interfaces in just about every different part of the university. For example, I'm instructing one class, and that's 298, and there's also 2 tutorials with that, and it lists the notifications, for example, so I can go in here and I can find out that there's some unread notifications. I can also find out details about that class. That's never happened before. Probably running the wrong version here. Get information about what's going on with the Huskies, which is the sports team for the University of Saskatchewan, so I can find out the scores and the schedule. Okay, so I got the campus map, and this is actually on top of Google Maps. At any different university, we can take an image that they generally have on their websites that students use to navigate around, and we overlay it on top of Google Maps. If we were on campus right now, you'd actually see a little blue dot to show where we are. But of course, this is running the simulator, and we're not there, so that's not going to happen. These webcams basically shows during the day. It's a lot more interesting. You get to see students walking around. It updates every 30 seconds. We also have like a search engine here, so I can ask like, where do I get a taco, for example? Where can I eat on campus? And tell you about something relevant to what you typed in. We can play videos through the app. It was a very taxing and trying thing to get this to happen. We had to work with all the different groups of the university to make this data available in a format that we could use. He's talking about how the synchrotron works. It's physics, Anyway, so... Yeah, this is actually the local pub, the bar, so you can find out when the bands are playing, this sort of thing. Every single part of the application here integrates with a different part of the university. I should have covered the library as well. So you can actually search the entire library catalog on your phone. Of course, this is an app that's on the App Store right now. We've had interest from universities as far away as France we've been contacted by. Interested in getting this made for them, for example. I think we really built something that's high quality. We put a lot of work into it, and I think that's why it's come out as well as it has.
Are you guys using a content management system like Drupal, or did you just ask for XML? Or?
Every single group at the university seems like every single button you see there, they use a different technology on the back end, honestly. So it depends on which button you're talking about, especially, for example, the classes and grades. That was a very involved process to get that data, and it has to be very, very secure all the way through. And that's something we had to work very hard on to make, basically the CIO of our university very happy. The stuff we're doing is at least as secure as what's done with the web pages, and in most cases it is more secure. and that's out of necessity.
Who owns the IP of this?
I own some of the IP, and the university owns some of the IP, and one of the faculty members who sponsored the project also owns some of the IP, but we're working out a license agreement. We're starting a separate company that I would be running, and that's obviously why I'm making these calls to universities and everything, and we're working out a license agreement where the company would actually own the IP.
Is this offered as a platform?
And what's interesting about this application is we really built a platform that makes it, we can make more of these things.
I was just wondering how you found the approval process with Apple, being that it kind of looks very similar to all their other apps.
It was tough. I actually I worked at Apple for a number of years, and I actually know one of the managers who is one of the guys who approves the apps on the App Store. So that kind of helped. I was actually one of the groomsmen at his wedding, so it's a close relationship. Yeah.
All right. If you have more questions, talk to Chad after. Also, if you have an iPhone app that you'd like approved, maybe talk to this guy.
I just wanted to briefly tell you guys a little bit more about some of the hashtags we use to cover DemoCamp. If you guys are on Twitter, we generally try and use DemoCamPCalgary. That may change to DemoCampYYC if you say a lot. As well, you can catch a photo stream of this if you take photos, or if you want to see the photos from the event on Flickr as well. We generally post a link on barcampcalgary.com after the event as well.
Okay, John Bristow, the Microsoft guy, has an announcement, and he's holding a big Windows 7 sticker. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but...
This is not about Windows 7. For those who are developers or IT pros or DBAs, we have an event coming up here in Calgary, November 17th and 18th, called Tech Days. If you want to find out more information, you can go to techdays.ca. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Tinu Ruparel. I'm the founder of Herbaceous Software, not Herbalicious, which sounds like some sort of stoner gum. I'm here with my chief technology guy, Graham Newman, and our chief programmer, Chris Ewington. And our first product is a product for the iPhone, Eden Garden Designer, a garden design program that doesn't suck. You get really expensive products which take a huge amount of time and effort to learn. And secondly, we want something that's mobile to be used actually when you're out and about. You might actually even be gardening. One thing you should know is that gardening is actually the top hobby listed in North America, and certainly probably in Europe as well. So it's a really, really large market. The idea came about by looking at my wife, who's a nut bar gardener, and last November, in the middle of a minus 30 weekend, she was sitting around sketching out what she was going to do when spring came around on a piece of paper and a pencil. And I thought, surely there's a better way to do this with a lot more interesting data involved. And we're going to go to My Gardens first of all, try My First Garden. And you get a couple of different backgrounds, some that are preloaded, others that you can choose. This is a preloaded background. And the simple thing to do is simply to plant it. So we're going to go to the plant library. And here we've got most common plants available for most gardens in North America and Europe. So let's try the Mexican marigold there. Now these pictures are actually high-def pictures of real plants. So once Apple finally brings out their tablets, or once we get this to the web where it's bigger, those pictures are going to look much more high-def. As they are, you can zoom in and you can see much more detail. And you can see there's some bees buzzing around. There's some nice background sounds. Gardeners want to do three things. They want to plant new stuff. They want to enjoy and move around things and play around with their designs, and then they want to share. You can show this to people on your iPhone as you meet with them, but you can also take a picture of it. It goes to the camera roll, which you can then email. Because the iPhone knows where it is, we can geolocate this. We figured out a way to map the zones of North America onto GPS, which was a non-trivial kind of job to do. You can also change your background. This is one that you might pick yourself, so let's try planting a beech. And so Eden knows that back there, the plants are going to be smaller. Up front, the plant's going to be bigger. And last thing I'll show you, the Seasons Features tells you exactly what it's going to look like at different times. So in early spring, certain things are going to be in bloom and other things aren't going to be. Oh, the last thing with the plant library, you can search various ways. So let's go Mexican or tulip or whatever. Click on that, and then you can see what information you need. So when you're at the garden center, you can see the zones, things like that, and also click down to Wikipedia and get much more information that way as well.
I'm just looking for the backgrounds.
Take your own pictures either on the iPhone, or you can download them from iTunes or iPhoto or whatever it is. Get them on there, and then you can use your own backgrounds.
We're not looking for any funding right now. I don't have a public beta of this, so it's a little bit different. Like Curve, we do have a foosball table at where we're at. We're particularly focused in the enterprise space. Our clients are tend to be high volume retailers and QSRs and folks of that nature, and we really help them out with their high volume building programs. The first products that we're putting on this new platform that we put together are targeted at folks in the commercial real estate asset management space, which doesn't sound that exciting, but those are the folks that actually bring to you things like Target and Staples and Home Depot and the places where you shop every weekend there. The platform that we've got here is the idea behind actually creating a context-sensitive mechanism that allows folks to go ahead and run multiple projects so that they can understand what they're looking at. Unfortunately, in that big box space, a lot of their projects look exactly the same, so it's difficult for them to discern what's going on there. We're positioned in between sort of generic apps, more like a quick-based type of application, and something that's much more tailored to a company like an SAP. We're a SaaS provider here, so when folks come on board, we're counting the number of services that we give to folks. We've been white labeling this thing for a while so that it looks like a core competency of that organization. We've been working on this thing here for about 18 months now. It's been about a year's worth of real development going forward, and we're just getting ready to launch. So we're going to share with you some exciting stuff. We haven't announced this publicly yet, but this is going to be called Evoco Fuse here. It's a platform that allows us to get context sensitive around the information that they're storing. So the bid process that's going on, where we're going to go ahead and build a new big box, change management, cost control, they're not as exciting and sexy as iPhone apps, but that's what actually gets these things done here at the end of the day. The key thing is that I need to know that when I move into a project or a site, that all the information that I'm seeing is related to that specific context. What we've tended to do in the past and what our competitors tend to do is to actually go ahead and separate that stuff out. With our platform model here, we've abstracted all of that information out from the specific applications that are hosted on the platform, and that allows us to go ahead and develop solutions a lot faster and allows people to derive that context. So the first thing that we've got on this platform is a stormwater compliance application. I've gone ahead and I've landed in my home space, which is an aggregator of all the information from all the projects that I'm working on, and it gives me some feedback as to the things I need to pay attention to. In this case here around stormwater compliance, there's a couple of deficiencies that are going on that I need to go ahead and take care of. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. And what it will do is it's actually driving you through to a different space. So the concept that we built on here with the platform is a number of different spaces which are loosely coupled by their relationships. It allows us to create a multitude of different environments to put information into. And when I've navigated down here, I'm in the Sunny Meadows site, and I'm in the Garden Center expansion project. So this is a management console for that particular project that allows them to understand where they're at. We're actually going to do a stormwater inspection. We recognize when folks were actually doing things like that, performing inspections, we ran into big problems here because a lot of their overhead involved in that inspection was navigating through the forms. I know you guys have probably all filled in paper forms and they got 100 questions on it, and you've got to dive through the different parts. So what we've done is we've created a question sequencing model that allows you to order your questions in a path that makes sense to you as you go ahead and investigate the site. We are reporting in a standardized way, so for the enterprise, what it creates is a model of good governance. What we've done here is we've included a signature model that allows our folks to go ahead and complete this form electronically, and then to go ahead and sign such a thing and to actually have that signature legally binding. So we do that in a couple of different ways. Put in my very secure authentication key. I'll go ahead and sign that form, and once I sign that form, we also go out and digitally sign that as well. So as an artifact of this process, these things have actually been shown to stand up in court. They'll go ahead and subpoena to pull this information together. This, by the way, is not my signature. This is Michael Jackson's signature. This is just the first application that we've been able to develop that lives inside a project or inside a site.
But as we go ahead and expand, and we have a couple more products that are slated to be released in Q1, again, very exciting topics like facility assessment and change management. But as we go ahead and release those things, the platform is also key in terms of providing intra-operability in between those various different pieces. So in the back end, the platform provides what we call the Uber base, which is a mechanism of data sharing. It also is focused on integration with source systems. So the enterprises that we're dealing with, we've just finished up doing a source system integration with SAP at Walmart, so we can pump the information through our Uber base and share it with the applications that are on the web top to move that information around. And then when folks see that in that shared context, they can actually make connections that they've been unable to make before, because the applications that people tend to provide are all isolated, and you don't have that opportunity to see information and data side by side. One of the other cool things that the guys did, and it's still in its early days, but we think it's pretty fantastic, is a SaaS-based web-oriented solution. One of the things that we ran into is that we had challenges with people who were on sites. What happens if I had limited connectivity? So we've actually built a model here where this platform can go offline and keep its context and allow folks to continue to access information and continue to enter information into the system. And when we come back online, it will then go ahead and update that information across the board. The guys in the R&D lab would have been much more excited if I would have talked about that first, but I forgot about it till now.
Hi, I'm Gordon, and this is my first iPhone application. And for example, I only got the Mac so I could program this thing. And I just learned today that you can zoom in on part of the screen. When people are driving by other people, there's quite frequently an opportunity to carpool, but this would be more of a spontaneous carpooling than the kind of coordinated in advance kind of stuff that people are trying to do with carpool.ca and a previous iPhone app that existed before but now seems to have disappeared permanently. You're gonna have to forgive me for typing in some pretty bad default values here. So just setting up a standard profile and stuff like that. You'll see that some of these values are, they're general, right? They're like, you're trying to identify someone as you're driving up to them with a car. So, and all of these interfaces with photos, on the iPhone itself, you'd have the opportunity to snap a photo at any point in time. So there's something I had for Halloween. Because if you're getting to get into a car, it might as well be with someone that looks promising, right? Okay, so a name is something that you would recognize internally. So say I owned a Volt. It's not going to be too complicated to know which one of your cars is a Volt unless you've got two. Whereas for other people, the second field is typically stuff that, 2010. These images aren't going to match up exactly. You've got to populate it with your vehicles in the house. Probably most people will just be populating two of those. This could be home for me, but I want other people to see Marta Loop because maybe I don't want them to know that that's my home that they're dropping me off at or something like that. A lot of this stuff didn't occur to me at first, but the general idea is that security is probably the biggest issue why people aren't carpooling or hitchhiking. Also, there's legal issues in Calgary. But I mean, basically, a lot of this is about trying to make it so people can't try to socially engineer picking up someone when it's someone else, right? Like, for example, when you put a name in your profile, I would only put in the letter G or a name that wasn't mine. You know, you could socially engineer something if you're like pulling up on the sidewalk and you're like, hey, Gordon. I'm like, oh, I must know you. I get in the car and then stab, 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 right? So here we're marking any destination. So GPS coordinates for, California, where this GPS goes to if you don't have a real phone. With needing a ride, you'd just be designating a destination. If you're offering a ride, then you would first select a vehicle, then you'd select the location you're headed to. And here's where the demo kind of gets boring because I haven't yet built the back end. So obviously there's not going to be a lot of carpooling taking place until I get the server side up and running. Boo. Okay, so I am still going to try to submit this to the App Store because I want to try something which I'm not sure if people have done before, but I basically want to submit an app which is a prototype of the interface, and it will provide news on development, which is what happens when you get to the main screen and you click on development, and all this does is it goes to my blog filtered to Yoctoride. Once it's on the App Store, if as many people end up installing this on their phone as possible, then when I have more functional revisions being released, it's the best way I know possible of actually pinging people with the, hey, this thing's functional now, the App Store alert, right? It'll say there's a new version, would you care to install it? So that's kind of why I'm going ahead with this, and I can't imagine it'll get that positive a reception to release a prototype app on the App Store, but we'll just see what happens. See if Apple okays that. And that's all I have to show on that. Can I take questions?
What's Hitchhike?
It's kind of a hitchhike app, kind of a carpool app. For a legal reason, I think I'll call it carpooling. Yeah?
Is there a way to have a list of trusted people that you can sign with?
For sure you'll want block features, and for sure there'll be some sort of karma. Like Google Latitude is a tool that only lets you share with people that you trust, right? So what I'm trying to say here is unless you block someone, your request for ride is basically going to be broadcast to all the drivers driving by.
So do you have like a social networking repository of people that you know that you can implement this with?
Do I have a bunch of people to test it with, you mean?
Everybody that I know, and then we just kind of get together, we use this tool to link up together. I mean, it seems kind of dangerous to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not planning on segmenting the society, like basically having clusters of users. The biggest challenge of an app like this, there is security, like security is a real concern, but I don't think that this will ever really take off unless there's a high density of people using it. So when I have a functional app, I'm gonna really be pushing this hard in Calgary, because the odds of getting enough people that you can actually get a driver and a passenger to hook up and it be convenient for both parties, I don't think I can make it work by narrowing the number of people that can possibly use it.
There's a lot of first-timers here, and we didn't go over this at the beginning. Started out about a year and a half or so ago in Calgary, and I think we had 20 or 30 people during the first few camps, and we see that it's grown, and it's only grown by word of mouth. So when David talks about the hashtags and talks about Twittering and Facebook and blogging, please do blog about us, tell your friends about us, and come on back for the next one. We're here to create a little bit of a tech community. So we have a whole bunch of students here from SAIT. We have a whole bunch of guys that are in the mix as entrepreneurs. We have some guys with some big fat wallets that you want to see. Go and introduce yourselves to each other, get some advice, get some potential developers, get some potential employees or friends. This community is here to help each other out, so make sure you guys introduce yourselves to just at least one other person so that can happen. A couple of people to thank is Sarah Blue, of course, our hostess. David Glusman in charge of the website and all things social media. John Bristow, even though he's from the evil corporation Microsoft. We still love you, John. Of course, Gord McDowell. And of course, thank you to all the presenters. Thank you.